Hi, welcome to Market Flow. I'm going to be doing a review of the market as well as some of the stock that is on great discount, 20% or more. And let's find out if they're a great deal or maybe we should wait on them. So let's start real quick just by analyzing the market, and see how it did today. As you have seen this before, we have been following this channel. We're just grinding on the upside right now, and we are grinding right below this green trend line that I have put right here. If I zoom out, this is what it looks like right now, and everything looks just fine. I don't see any warnings right now. If you want to know more about my thoughts on the SPY, you can look at older videos. We still have positive momentum on the RSI, and if I look at the 1 hour right now, it looks like yeah, I mean, we're still grinding right here at the top channel. We can break out tomorrow in the next few days, and then we're gonna get an impulsive move to the upside, or we can come back and retest this trend line right here about 412. So that's pretty much what's going on with the SPY. But as the video shows, I wanted to do a recap of some of the stocks that have been in great discount and see if they're a buy or a sell. And I have a list right here, and I already been looking at some of them. SENS, it's a company that creates an app for monitor glucose, and currently right now it looks like it just completed it in a correction. The RSI went to oversold, and then it had a pretty good bounce, and at this particular time it got rejected from the 20 moving average. It's not horrible. I think it's I mean, it's hard to tell what the valuation of these stocks are, but compared from the top, it does look like it's gonna start to consolidate at some point. Let's look at what the fundamentals look for this company or finance. So I usually use this website to get a reading of what the market thinks about the company. And so one of the first things that I've noticed is that there is a lot of downgrades from many different investors. That's a red flag right there. You know, I particularly don't want to invest in a company where there is a lot of analysts or institutions who think this stock should be downgraded, and they have targets of $3, $1, and $2. So if we review what the price currently right now, it's about $2. So yeah, it's somewhere around the level, but there hasn't been any upgrades recently. The company sells about $4 million. However, their income is negative almost 180. So their PS ratio is very high. That means like this company sells very little, and they are in very red numbers. So that's another red flag. But again, this is a company that is trying to do innovation. It's in the research right now. So if you know something that can trigger this company to increase their sales or any future catalyst, then that's probably a buy. At this particular point, I think that it can continue selling, especially if we look at the weekly calendar. I mean, the weekly chart. It looks like the RSI went to like very oversold, overbought, and then right now it's trying to get a little bit of breathe. I'll definitely give it a couple weeks for that to consolidate and then get a price that is more stable, at least for this particular company. I'm gonna jump on with this one, and one particular point, this block, I thought it was a buying opportunity, and I was looking at it. I counted the correction, and it was a 5-way correction and then a zigzag, and I thought that it was getting pretty close to a good entry. However, when I was looking at what other people was thinking about this company, let's see, what's the name of it again? SPLK, SPL. Yeah, so when I was looking here, I've noticed that as well, there's a lot of downgrades. Even today, April 27, Morgan Stanley came in and they downgraded the stock to 160. I mean, this is not horrible. What does that mean? Well, they mean that the price target for this company is 160. However, they had a higher price target in the past, 213. And then if I look at the article right here, it blames Morgan Stanley downgrade for the price drop for today. This company, I don't think it's horrible. It's a lot better than the other one. At least they're having pretty good sales, $2 billion in sales, and they do have a negative income, and their market cap is about 10 times their sales ratio. It's not horrible, but we can see that this company has done, from last year to this year, as far as revenue goes, it didn't increase. So that's a little bit of a red flag for a growth company. And this is the other part too, that it's a little bit of a red flag. A lot of people have been selling their stocks, and I don't really care much about the ones who sell in the 50 or 1,000 range, but I care about these ones that want to sell in the million range. So the president and CEO recently, on April 12th, he sold this many shares at 145. So if we go back to the price, 145, April, let's see, right here, April 12th. Now, if you have any suggestions, any stocks that you want me to review, please share it on the comments. So April 16, that will be about here. It's interesting to know that that was probably the why we had a sell-off right here, a big gap, and it was because some insiders were selling in the millions. I mean, it has so many red flags. If insiders are selling heavily, that means there's really not much hope in the short term. Otherwise, they would keep their money there. That's my thought in that particular stock. So I'm staying away from it. I don't really like what I see. XPEV has been behaving very different than NEO. I thought they were going to move very similar. And this is the weekly chart. It looks like it still has negative momentum. The 1 day chart, I was expecting them to break above the 20 moving average and the 15, just like NEO did. However, they didn't do that. They found a little bit of support right here, which is fine. This worked as support, and now it's working as support. I'm gonna take this trend line out because it doesn't work anymore, but this price right here may be a good entry if it's sustained. If I look at what analysts think about XPEV, XPEV, you're gonna find out that well, they got an upgrade, but that was a while back, and their sales is not as good. Yeah, so now if we compare that with NEO, it's a completely different chart. You see how NEO chart is making this feed right here, and it's looking like it closed above this height, and it's currently at that specific level. And there is a lot of upgrades on NEO, and their sales is a lot bigger than XPEV. So usually, and this is not a recommendation, but I will go with NEO. I have shares on NEO, and I don't want to speculate with other companies. I'd rather focus with one that I think it's pretty strong, that I can always rely, and then that will be my EV play for the next coming years. But however, I don't see the same thing with XPEV, and I think the reason why XPEV doesn't do electrical cars right now, they do sort of hybrids. So that's one thing to notice right there. This is another stock, and usually all these stocks are in great discounts are stocks that ARK investment were buying pretty heavily, or they're part of their ARK investment portfolio. So I don't know much about this company right here, but I've noticed that we were getting on the oversold territory, and it did this breakout. It touched the 20 moving average, and then I noticed this hammer right here. This is a very bullish hammer, and I wanted to see a continuation of that, a very good green candle for me to have confidence in the company. However, there was a little bit of sell. I'm waiting for this one to have a green candle above the 20 moving average, and then I think that would be a good entry if you're bullish in the company, if you know more about it. But yeah, it's looking like on the oversold. There's no positive momentum currently, but this may be a head and shoulder right now. We'll see how that turns out. If I look at it right here, so this is what it looks like, and I guess there's a mix of analysts. So there's not really much of a direction right here. Sells 15 million, but they lose 45 million. So it's a company that is currently in research. Their goal is to come out with a product perhaps that can make them a lot of money. So sales is not their thing right now. A lot of sales, but not as much as we have seen with other companies, specifically recently. All the sales were in March, and right now in April that has stopped, and these sales are minimal. They're within the 1,000 range. There was a pretty big one right here on August 18, but that was a while back. However, I don't think there's any red flags with the sales. It's a company that is making a little bit of money, and let's read what they do. SYRS Pharmaceuticals is a biopharmaceutical company focused on the development and treatment of cancer, and they use gene control medicines. Okay, and if I go back to ARK, and then you can see here a little bit of what other people, they own about 10% of the company. At one point I think it was a little bit more than that. And if I go right here at the weekly chart, there we go. We're gonna see, I have this note right here that helps me know why I have it right here. One thing to notice is that on the weekly RSI, we're getting to an oversold. However, we still have negative, and it's gonna take off. So it's a very long-term investment. A lot of these stocks from ARK, they're 5 to 10 years investment, and ARK knows this, and many people don't know that, and they think that these are just stocks that they should buy for the short term. But yeah, right now support will be about 550. I think that will be a good entry if you are looking into it. Again, this is something I'm gonna place right here, so good price will be about 550, and I'm gonna add an alert for myself. I don't think I'm gonna buy it, but I still think it should be good. I think ONVO was a little bit more bullish in my opinion in the weekly chart. So this is not something you see in the day-to-day basis, but on the weekly chart it did show more strength than the other company that we were just looking at. Every time it touches this trend line, at least for the last 3 days, not 3 days, but at least for the last 3 times, inclusive just recently, it had a pretty good bounce, and I can see that having a continuation. So this is probably a stronger stock to pick up. You see that there is bullish momentum right here, making higher lows. However, we'll start making lower highs. So it is not It's not all black and white, but it does look like it's on a discount. And then again, if I look at it right here, ONVO, yeah, ARK owns about 6% of it, so they're pretty bullish on that. And if I go look at the trades, let's see if they've been buying recently. I don't think they have been buying recently. No, it's not gonna show. So I think that's it for that one. Is it a buy right now? Well, it looks a little bit better than the other ones that we have looked so far. ONVO, we're looking at the weekly chart. There's really not much of a analysis. There's more speculation. They produce no money, and then this is what people's talking about it. Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly sure. It's a biotech technology. They do bioprints of human tissues based on 3D human tissues. They perform technology that emulates human biology and disease. I mean, I think they're producing sort of breakout technology, and they're probably gonna be a 10x company in the future. But at this particular point, it looks like investors have stepped up here. So it's not, out of all the ones that we have looked, this one seems to have a better outlook at this particular point. And if we look at sellers, yeah, there's no sellers in this particular stock. So I'm gonna add it to the green candle. I'm gonna wash it in the coming days. This one is the other one, TMDI. It's a stock from ARK. They've been buying heavily as well. This is the weekly chart. I think we still have a little bit more of a downside. The weekly RSI is still coming down. However, last time we were about these levels, it created a it became more stable, and then it had another leg. So I'm looking to see something like that. I'm looking to see it to get stable for a few days, and then that's probably gonna give you an idea that investors are stepping up. I'm not gonna look in detail on this one. I'm gonna go a little bit faster, see how many I can cover. Right now, I think I was looking this one on the 1 hour chart, and this one creates a technology for autonomous cars, and recently had a news, and that's why we see that it's trying to do a reversal. So right now it's in the process of doing a reversal. If you notice, the RSI went from a very overbought to oversold territory. And one thing to notice is, like, all of these moves right here that were done on negative divergence. So any pick was a opportunity for bears to step in. I think they already make pretty good money on this, and it's trying to reverse. I mean, there's been times when that happens. It just has to sustain above the 15 moving average, and then we have to see the 15 moving average do a cup underneath the price. I think that will be a pretty good sign. FRSX, I mean, a lot of these stocks, they don't have great revenue, so it's hard to tell, like, financially what's going on. I mean, but they do have a smaller market cap than other stocks that we have looked into it. And it looked like they, in the news recently, they had a iNet partner for exclusive distributions. And so I think this one is not as horrible, especially since autonomous vehicles can be near future. But yeah, they provide these sensors for autonomous vehicles. I think it's sort of a thermal vision cameras, all this kind of stuff. I think this is a pretty hot stock. There's no sellers, So I think that's insider seller, so that's pretty good. It was hyped up quite a bit. I don't know if it's gonna get this low, $2, but that will be definitely a good support. $2. We'll see what happens with this one. I'm gonna keep this one on my watch list. Have NEO here. NEO, it's definitely a buy in my opinion. It broke from this triangle. It got rejected from the 15 moving average. It's going to consolidate a little bit here. On April 29, we're going to have earnings, and who knows what's going to happen on earnings at this particular point. It has moved quite a bit out from the RSI, so it's very likely that it may come back here, retest some of this trend line, and then move forward again. Some of the, you know, this happened as well with Tesla. A lot of the times there's a lot of calls for NEO, and when earnings come in, even though earnings are good, the institutions who are selling these calls options, they wanna get their money. So instead of buying the stock because they have the power to do so, they sell the stock, so the calls, they get depreciated, or they short their own they short the price, and then stock gets to a support where they will buy it back. So, and then they'll get their money from the calls, which is quite a bit. That's how they make their money. And so I can expect that right here. I don't have any calls. I do have some shares, and I'm looking to load more. I think 38, it's probably like a good target if it starts moving down as a pullback. But NEO is definitely a green in my opinion. Yeah, and I'm gonna go to some, like, I'm gonna skip some of them unless there is a request, but I'm gonna do a quick update about some of the ones that I'm bullish on. I think I already covered some that are on discount. Unity is one of them, and you can see that buyers have stepped up right here, and it's currently trying to break. So I measure the waves right there. It's one that I have to buy more shares because it's about to break, and I want to buy them before it does that. It's currently testing the 15 moving average, and today it looks like it did close above it. Yeah, yesterday it closed above it. Today it was a retest. Man, that's beautiful. And then we have this positive momentum. So that's that. I mean, there's definitely quite a bit of good stocks right now to buy. Not all of them are. You have to do your own due diligence, study the charts to find out if they're actually reversing and if they're breaking out, how they're behaving. FUBO is another one that I have shares and calls on it. So it recently closed above the 20 moving average, and then today it came down, retested it. I think it's getting ready to move higher. So that's another stock I'm bullish about. If you notice, any of these stocks who made a green candle today, I think are pretty trying to do a reversal compared to the ones that have been selling off more heavily even on recent days. Most of the strong stocks should be doing reversals at this particular point. CLOV, it's another one that I have a long-term position, and I keep buying more every time it falls. So as you can see, look at this. This is beautiful. The 20 moving average, it's making this U-turn, as well as the 50 moving average. It's probably gonna wait for the 20 moving average to hit, or it may just like break out within the next few days. It didn't break out today, but we're still waiting. So anyway, that's it for today. Please put in the comments below if you want another stock to review. I'm gonna share this, and subscribe if you like the content. Thank you for watching.